After a project, it's a good time to reflect. Once the shop is back in order, taking a pause of gratitude sets the intention for the next work to be started. Crackling fire you hear are the unused scrap pieces of cedar from the last build. It seems fitting to start here with a flame heat, as the next project will be using that flame not only to give the wood a certain aesthetic quality, but to elicit the quality of the mind. All right, gang, I want to tell you a little bit about what's happening here with this gate. So this is a Japanese-inspired garden gate. And so the inspiration comes from, one, the charred portions of the frame. And you can see the different color between this top rail, bottom rail, and the stiles here on the sides, and this middle rail. And the difference in that is that although all the darker parts have been burned, charred, the lighter colored ones have been scrubbed off. So I've taken a nylon brush and just went over it and got all of that charring off, and then that gives you a nice, smooth, sort of textured feel to it. The darker ones, I just went with a deeper char and left that on there. And that's, I believe it's called Shisugiban or Yagasugi. I think there's a couple of different terms it goes by, but basically it's the charring of a cedar species of wood. Now, the other inspiration you can see here is this, the curves on the very top of this top rail and on the ends of it. And then the final portion of it is this Kumiko pattern here. That's the central part of the gate in the top panel. And that is something I just wanted to do for years. And to be honest, I just didn't quite have the skill set, or at least I didn't feel quite comfortable enough to attack all those angles that come along with it. And traditional Kumiko that you're going to see in like a Soji screen is quite a bit smaller than this, right? This piece here is a 1 foot by 1 foot. And so everything is a little bit bigger. I believe the individual pieces are about 3/4 of an inch wide, about a 1/2 inch thick. And that is considerably bigger than what you would find. And the reason I did that is intentional, because most of those are for more like indoor projects. And so I wanted to size something that was going to be bigger, that would be appropriate if it were going outdoors. And also, just being the first time, well, the second time, the first time is hanging over, well, actually it's over on the workbench right now. But anyway, um, I wanted to use larger pieces because it's just easier to work with, right? Um, but yeah, so that's where the inspiration comes from. Now let's talk a little bit about why, right? Um, I sometimes build things that it's kind of taking an idea and exploring that idea in a physical object, okay? And then with this one in particular, what I was thinking of as I was building it was not only like Japanese culture and Japanese philosophy, but a particular idea called wabi sabi. And you can get really, really deep into that. I'm going to just kind of leave you with what I took away from it and have always thought about when I think of that idea. And there's two things. One is the impermanence of existence, right? All existence. Everything is fleeting, everything is impermanent, and everything is in varying phases of decay. And the other part was the aesthetic of imperfection, right? So much of the things you see these days the manufacturing processes are so good that everything just looks perfect, right? But can there be beauty in imperfect things? And so as I was building this and doing the charring and mixing in, like, all of this really is salvage cedar that I've taken from older projects and just kept over the years. The bottom panels here, I think they're new, and I wanted to contrast that with the charred part of the wood, and contrast that with the newness of these panels here, and then with this Kamiko pattern, and just kind of playing around with that, of those, the newness and the crispness of the new material, and contrasting that with the older stuff, like these panels here on the sides. These were actually weathered boards. You probably can't see it, but there's actually some checking that's in here that was just from those weathered boards. And I just, even if you don't particularly like this style, like if this isn't your thing, that's okay. But I'm really curious as to what you think if you're familiar with wabi sabi, if you end up looking it up and researching it a little bit, telling me what you think this piece says in terms of thinking of wabi sabi in an object. And that's just really what I was thinking of. I don't think this one's actually going to go outside anywhere. There's too many things that I tried out, like new techniques, especially with this Kamiko. And I think it's probably going to end up going somewhere on a shop wall in here. But yeah, that's it. I will enjoy building this one, and I'm curious what you guys think.